This is something most people never consider. The idea that your heart could be in danger not during the day, when you're active, stressed, or working, but rather in those quiet, still hours when you're fast asleep. It seems ironic, doesn't it? That your body, resting and recharging, could also be entering a vulnerable state. Yet, that's the truth we often overlook. And if we're not paying attention, that quiet vulnerability can become something far more serious. You see, during sleep, your body undergoes deep restoration. Your heart rate slows, your blood pressure drops, and your breathing deepens. All these things are good. They signal rest and recovery. But what happens just before you wake up is where the risk begins to build. It's in that small window, often between 4 a.m. and 10 a.m., when your body starts preparing to re-enter the world. Hormones like cortisol rise sharply, your blood pressure spikes, and your heart starts working harder in anticipation of activity. This surge in early morning cardiovascular activity isn't dangerous on its own. In fact, it's natural. But the problem arises when your body is already under stress, or if your arteries are inflamed, or your lifestyle hasn't been heart-friendly. The data backs this up. Studies across cardiology journals point to early morning as the most common time for cardiac events, heart attacks, strokes, sudden spikes in arrhythmia. And yet we go about our mornings without giving this any real thought. We jump out of bed, grab our phones, flood ourselves with notifications, emails, news, noise. There's no transition, no pause, no care for the fact that our heart, the very engine of our life, has just shifted gears abruptly. That abruptness is part of the problem. Imagine starting a car that's been parked overnight, cold and unprimed, and suddenly pushing it to high speeds. That's what we do to our hearts when we go from sleep to stress in under 5 minutes. And for people already carrying hidden risks, high blood pressure, mild blockages, chronic stress, this becomes a recipe for disaster, slowly chipping away at their heart health without them realizing it. But what if the solution wasn't complicated? What if saving your heart didn't require medication or surgery or fear, but instead required a small shift in how you greet the day? That's what we're talking about here. Not a dramatic overhaul. Just a conscious moment, a small change, done consistently. Understanding what your heart goes through overnight is the beginning. It creates awareness, and from that awareness comes action. It allows you to wake up with presence, to allow your body and your heart to transition from night to day instead of being jolted into motion. It's about learning how to support your system when it needs you most. Not when it's convenient, not when you're already in trouble, but when it first wakes up and says, let's begin again. Now let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually felt your heartbeat in the morning? Not the racing kind after caffeine or anxiety. I mean the natural rhythm of it. That quiet thump in your chest that means you're still here, still breathing, still capable of change. That beat is a gift. But most of us are too distracted to even notice it. And that's where the shift happens. You begin to see the morning not just as a to-do list, but as an opportunity. The first and most important opportunity to serve your heart. To give it what it needs before the world asks for your energy. Because if you don't protect your energy first thing, everything that follows will cost you more than you realize. So how do you begin to honor that morning window? Start by slowing down. Before reaching for your phone, sit up slowly, breathe deeply, and allow your body to recalibrate. Let your blood flow redistribute gradually. Let your nervous system wake up gently. These first few moments, just 60 to 90 seconds, are enough to stabilize your heart rate and prevent abrupt spikes in blood pressure. Then drink a glass of water. After 6 to 8 hours of sleep, your blood is naturally thicker due to dehydration. That thickness makes your heart work harder to pump it. Rehydrating immediately helps thin the blood, ease circulation, and lighten the heart's load. It sounds simple, but this one act has saved lives. You don't need noise, stimulation, or distraction when you first wake up. You need connection. Connection to breath, connection to body, connection to self. Because when you are present in those early moments, you move through your day with intention. Your heart doesn't have to sprint to catch up. It flows with you. Think of your heart as your lifelong companion. It beats for you before you're born and will beat for you until the end. It never rests, never complains, and asks for very little in return. But when it does need something, like a gentle, thoughtful start to the day, Ignoring that request can come at a high cost. No one plans for a heart attack. No one wakes up expecting to collapse from exhaustion or stress. But those moments don't come out of nowhere. They are the end result of years of neglect, tiny daily habits compounded over time. And morning, more than any other time, is your chance to reverse that. This isn't about fear. It's about awareness. It's about reclaiming a sense of responsibility over your own health, starting with the moment you wake up. And once that habit is built, once you begin each day in service to your heart, something remarkable happens. You don't just protect your heart, you strengthen it, you energize it. You create a rhythm in your life that is calm, clear, and strong. And that rhythm carries you through every challenge, every choice, every day. And so, when tomorrow comes and you open your eyes again to a brand new day, remember this: how you wake up could be the single most important decision you make for your heart. Every morning, people all over the world wake up and immediately reach for coffee, check their phones, or rush into the day without even thinking twice about what their body truly needs. And while caffeine or routine might feel like the wake-up call we crave, there's something much more essential that your heart is silently begging for the moment you open your eyes: water. Now that might sound simple, almost too simple to matter, but that's exactly the problem. The things that seem too easy, too ordinary, are the ones we tend to ignore. We forget that the body, after 6 to 8 hours of sleep, has gone through a long period without fluid. No food, no drink, just breathing, sweating, processing, and restoring. And while all that happens, water is being used constantly, even though you're unconscious. So when you wake up, whether you feel it or not, your body is in a state of mild dehydration. The trouble is, most people don't recognize this dehydration because they're used to it. It becomes normal. But make no mistake, just because you're used to something doesn't mean it's good for you. When the body is dehydrated, even slightly, the blood becomes thicker. And when your blood is thick, your heart has to work harder to push it through your arteries. That's at its strain. Every single beat, every single contraction is facing more resistance. And this isn't just a theory, it's measurable physical reality. Your blood pressure goes up, your heart rate variability drops, you feel tired, foggy, may even anxious. But instead of correcting the root cause, the lack of water, we pour coffee into our system and call it energy. But coffee without water? That's a trap. It dehydrates you even more. This isn't about cutting out coffee. It's about when you introduce it. What comes first? And how does that first act impact your heart? So here's the truth. 1 glass of water, just one, right after waking up, can immediately ease the burden on your heart. It thins your blood. It helps restart your metabolism. It signals to your kidneys, your liver, your brain, and yes, your cardiovascular system that it's time to begin the day with clarity, not confusion. Think about that. 1 glass, 1 minute, 1 decision, and yet most people never make it. We've been trained to think of heart health as something complex, something that only doctors or medications can fix. But your body is far more intelligent than we give it credit for. It responds instantly to what you give it. And water is life, not just metaphorically, but literally. Wait, your heart is a muscle, and muscles need hydration to function. Your blood is a fluid, and like any fluid, its flow depends on its consistency. Thicker fluids clog, thinner ones glide. Which do you want flowing through your veins when you begin your day? Now let's go deeper. That first sip of water also tells your nervous system something powerful. You're safe. It brings you into the parasympathetic state, the calm state, the one that allows your body to heal, digest, and function properly. Most people go from sleep to stress instantly. Alarms blaring, screens glowing, responsibilities racing. But what if instead you gave your body that moment of hydration and stillness? What if you created a ritual out of that first drink? I know, it sounds almost too easy. And maybe that's why people don't do it. We associate change with struggle, with effort. But transformation doesn't always require pain. Sometimes it's about awareness. It's about choosing not to ignore the messages your body sends you, even the quiet ones. And hydration is one of the most silent signals of all. You might not notice you're thirsty until you're already running low. You might not feel the tension in your chest until your heart has been pushing too hard for too long. But just because the signs aren't loud doesn't mean they aren't dangerous. Silent problems are often the most serious. And mild dehydration, when repeated daily, year after year, leads to chronic inflammation, increased risk of stroke, and elevated stress on the cardiovascular system. It's not the one big event that breaks us, it's the repetition of small neglects. That's where the habit comes in. You don't need to overhaul your life. You just need consistency. Imagine waking up every morning and reaching, first thing, not for your phone or your to-do list, but for a glass of clean, room temperature water. You drink it slowly. You feel it move through you. It moves through you. You breathe. You stretch. You allow your body to adjust. And in those 2 minutes, without realizing it, you've already lowered your blood pressure, activated your metabolism, and supported your heart more than most people do all day. This isn't about perfection. Some mornings you'll forget. Some days you'll be rushed. That's okay. But if you remember more than you forget, the habit forms. And once the habit is there, the heart thanks you every single day in silence. It beats more easily. It carries you more calmly. It protects you more fiercely because you've protected it. Now imagine the alternative. Waking up, rushed, dehydrated, distracted. You skip water. You drink coffee. You start thinking about work, responsibilities, obligations. Your heart is working overtime without any support. And it does this day after day for years. Then one day, not because you're weak, but because it's tired, it lets you know. A pressure in the chest, a skip beat, a tightness in the arms, a silent warning you wish you hadn't ignored. Don't wait for that moment. Don't wait for the body to scream what it's been whispering all along. Listen now, respond now, act now. And that action begins with something as small and powerful as a single glass of water in the morning. So the next time you wake up before anything else, reach for what your heart truly needs. Not noise, not caffeine, not rush, but hydration. That's how you begin to save your heart. Not in a hospital, not in a crisis, but quietly, every morning, one conscious choice at a time. After waking up, your body is like an engine that's been idling for hours, calm, cool, quiet. But just like any engine, it needs to warm up before it can run smoothly. The mistake most people make is that they go from complete stillness to full speed living in a matter of minutes. They jump from bed into stress, into movement, into noise, without giving the body, especially the heart, a chance to prepare, and it's this immediate shift that slowly wears us down over time. What most don't realize is that gentle, intentional morning movement can be one of the most powerful protectors of heart health. Now, I'm not talking about intense workouts or going for a 10K run before sunrise. This isn't about punishment or pushing the body hard right away. This is about rhythm, creating a steady, natural pace that allows your blood to flow, your breath to deepen, and your heart to gradually pick up speed in a safe and supported way. Just 10 to 15 minutes of light movement after waking can completely shift how your cardiovascular system performs for the rest of the day. When you move your body early in the morning, you stimulate circulation. Blood begins to flow more freely to your muscles, organs, and brain. Oxygen delivery increases. Your lymphatic system kicks into gear, flushing out toxins, and most importantly, your heart starts to engage in a healthy pattern. Not rushed, not panicked, but steady and strong. This early motion tells your body, I'm awake, I'm present, and I'm in control. The benefits go even deeper. Morning movement helps regulate cortisol, the stress hormone that naturally spikes in the early hours of the day. When you sit still and scroll through your phone or jump into tasks with no grounding, cortisol keeps rising, triggering anxiety, tightness, and mental fog. But when you begin the day with movement, even a simple walk, some slow stretches, or just swaying side to side with conscious breath, your body processes cortisol more effectively. It gets used, not stored. And that shift lowers your overall stress load, protects your heart from pressure overload, and sets a calmer tone for everything that follows. I've seen people change their entire energy levels with just one adjustment, trading 5 minutes of mindless phone use in bed for 5 minutes of standing, breathing, and slowly moving their arms and legs. That's all it takes to change your internal chemistry. Your blood starts to warm. Your joints feel less stiff. Your breath becomes more open. You're not just awake, you're alive. And when your body feels alive, your heart beats with confidence, not confusion. Think of your heart like a conductor of an orchestra. If the instruments are cold and out of sync, the music sounds chaotic. But if you give them a moment to tune, to warm up, to align, the sound becomes fluid, beautiful, and controlled. That's what morning movement does to your body. It tunes your system so your heart doesn't have to fight to find rhythm. It flows into rhythm naturally. And here's the truth. Your body wants to move. It's built for it. The discomfort many people feel in the morning, the stiffness, the sluggishness, the tension, isn't a sign to stay still. It's a sign to move gently, to meet your body where it is and invite it into motion without forcing it. There's wisdom in the body's signals. Pain is often the result of stagnation. Circulation is the antidote. You don't need a gym. You don't need equipment. All you need is attention. Maybe you stand by a window, take a few deep breaths, and slowly roll your shoulders. Maybe you do a few neck circles, stretch your arms up, twist gently from side to side. Maybe you walk in place, feeling the soles of your feet, wake up as they connect with the floor. This is movement. This is medicine. What's even more beautiful is how this kind of movement becomes a signal, not just to the body, but to the mind. It tells your entire being that today is different. Today, I choose to care. That choice builds momentum. When you start the day with movement, you tend to eat better, you drink more water, you breathe deeper, you handle stress with more resilience. And all of those things loop back to your heart, creating a cycle of protection instead of pressure. Most people wait until their body breaks down to start moving. They wait until they're in pain, until their doctor tells them to exercise, until they feel scared enough to change. But prevention isn't dramatic. It's quiet. It's consistent. And it begins with simple actions taken every single morning. Actions that may seem small, but over time become the reason your heart stays strong and your life stays steady. So the next time you open your eyes and sit up in bed, resist the urge to stay frozen. Don't reach for distractions. Don't reach for distractions. Instead, rise slowly, stand tall and move. Not to burn calories, not to prove anything, but to tell your heart, I'm with you. Let's face the day together. Most people never stop to realize how much their emotional state, especially in the very first moments of the day, affects their physical body, especially the heart. We live in a world that teaches us to start fast, think fast, move fast, wake up and check your phone, respond to messages, scroll through headlines, think about your deadlines, all of that before you've even taken a single conscious breath. But what does that do to the heart, to the nervous system, to your overall health? It does more than we imagine. You see, when you wake up and immediately throw yourself into mental chaos, your body doesn't distinguish between the emotional stress of a news alert and the physical stress of running from danger. Stress is stress. The body doesn't care about the source. It only knows how to react. And the reaction is always the same. A rise in cortisol, a rush of adrenaline, a constriction of blood vessels, an increase in blood pressure. Your heart starts to beat faster, not because it's ready for movement, but because it thinks you're under threat. That's how most people begin their mornings, in a mild state of fight or flight. And what's terrifying is that they don't even know it. It feels normal to be tense, to be anxious, to feel pressure in the chest before breakfast. But that's not normal. That's just familiar. There's a big difference. And that difference, over time, is what breaks the heart down. The way you start your day determines the rhythm of your entire system. If you begin with stress, you carry that stress into your conversations, your posture, your decision-making, your energy level. You carry it into your heart, which has no choice but to keep beating, even under pressure, until it can't anymore. But if you can give yourself just a few moments of intentional calm each morning, you can shift that rhythm. You can reduce stress hormones. You can increase heart rate variability, which is one of the strongest indicators of heart health and longevity. You can change the entire trajectory of your day and ultimately your life. That's why morning mindfulness is not a luxury. It's not something reserved for monks or wellness influencers. It's a necessity, a fundamental act of self-respect. It can be as simple as 5 minutes of breathing, not deep, forced breathing, just natural awareness of the inhale, the exhale, just allowing the breath to guide you into presence. Because the truth is, the present moment is the only space where the heart feels safe. When you're present, you're not worrying about what hasn't happened yet. You're not reliving old pain. You're just here, breathing, alive, And in that state, the heart can soften. It can beat without resistance. It can do what it was designed to do. Support life, not survive it. Some people think meditation is too hard, that they can't sit still, that their mind is too busy. But that's the point. The busier your mind, the more important it is to slow down. You don't need silence. You need space. Just a little space between thought and reaction. That space is what gives your heart room to breathe. Even gratitude, something as simple as listing 3 things you're thankful for, can change your biochemistry. It shifts your nervous system from sympathetic stress-driven to parasympathetic healing mode. Gratitude isn't just a mindset, it's medicine. And practice daily, especially in the morning, it becomes a shield around your heart. A shield made not of protection from the world, but a stronger foundation inside yourself. I've seen people change their entire emotional landscape in less than 10 days of starting the morning with 5 minutes of mindfulness. They begin to sleep better, their blood pressure lowers, their mood stabilize, their breathing slow. But most importantly, they start to feel a sense of control again, not over life, but over how they meet life. And that is the real heart protector. It's not about controlling your environment. You can't stop life from throwing challenges your way away. You can't control other people or traffic or markets or weather, but you can choose how you show up. You can choose how your body enters the day, whether it enters the day already overwhelmed or centered, grounded, and calm. If you've never done this before, start small. Before you get out of bed, before your feet touch the floor, close your eyes for a few moments and just listen to your breath. No need to force it. Just observe. You're alive. You're here. That's already a miracle. Then ask yourself gently, how do I want to feel today? Not what you want to achieve or you can do. Not what you have to do, just how you want to feel. Peaceful, steady, energized, loved. Start your day with that intention. Let that be the vibration that moves through your heart before anything else, even posture matters. When you sit up with awareness, with your spine straight and shoulders relaxed, you signal to your body that you are awake and strong. When you slouch or curl over your phone, your breath shortens, your heart space closes, and your energy collapses. Morning mindfulness is about presence in all things: breath, thought, movement, and posture. You don't need a teacher. You don't need an app. You don't need the perfect setup. You only need the willingness to stop, to be still, to breathe. And in that stillness, you'll realize something profound, that your heart has been waiting for you to notice it. Not when it breaks, not when it aches, but every day in those quiet early hours it beats, faithfully, patiently, asking only for your attention. This habit of mindfulness isn't about checking a box. It's about honoring the most important relationship you'll ever have, the one with yourself. Because when you honor yourself first thing in the morning, everything else you do comes from a place of wholeness. Your decisions are clearer. Your reactions are softer. Your relationships deepen. Your purpose sharpens, and your heart, knowing that it has your care, beats with rhythm and resilience. We think strength comes from effort, from pushing through, from grinding hard. But real strength, the kind that protects the heart, comes from stillness, from awareness, from a willingness to be quiet enough to listen. And when you learn to listen, really listen, your heart will guide you. It always has. So tomorrow, when you rise, don't just wake up, return. Return to breath. Return to presence. Return to the still, powerful space that has always been inside you. That's how you protect your heart. That's how you begin again.